Okay, so today we are diving into something pretty thought-provoking.
Okay.
21 Signs of Weak Iman.
Okay.
And it's actually a fascinating document.
Yeah.
It's from Jamia Masjid Al Mustafa. It's a UK Islamic center, and they do a lot of work in terms of community outreach and things like that. And I feel like this is going to be a journey of self-reflection for us today. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a journey that resonates, I think, far beyond just, any one faith. You see, Iman translates to faith, right? But it's so much more than that. It's about how that belief, that Iman, sort of weaves its way into every single fiber of your being. I mean, your actions, your reactions, how you treat others. It's really that compass that guides your entire life.
I love it. A compass that guides your life.
Yeah.
And this document, it doesn't hold back. It goes through 21 signs that your inner compass might need a little bit of recalibrating. Where do we even begin with something like this?
Well, I think we can approach it like a journey inwards. We start with the heart, right? That core of who we are, and then how that manifests in our actions. So, for example, one of the signs they talk about is not feeling guilty when going against the Sharia, which are essentially Allah's commandments, the do's and don'ts, if you will.
Okay.
And this idea of, struggling to align your actions with your beliefs, battling temptation, wrestling with guilt. That's something everyone grapples with, regardless of their faith. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the human experience in a nutshell, right?
Exactly.
It's that little voice inside that tells you you're a little bit off course. And how you respond to that really kind of defines who you are.
Precisely. And there are, several signs that sort of touch upon this inner struggle. For instance, neglecting the Sunnah,
Okay.
which are the Prophet Muhammad's, teachings and practices.
Like it says, okay.
It's like disregarding a roadmap in a way. You've got the beliefs, but how do you put them into action?
Yeah.
It's about seeking that guidance on how to live a life, of purpose, of meaning.
So living in line with your beliefs requires you to actively seek out that guidance. It's not just about knowing the rules, but actually embodying them.
100%. And it gets even more interesting, I think, when we see how this inward struggle, right, this battle within ourselves, then ripples outward into our interactions with others. The document even mentions not loving for your brother or sister what you love for yourself.
Right.
And that principle, my friend, is a universal value. I mean, you find that in countless cultures and religions. It speaks to empathy, to compassion, to this interconnectedness of
It's humanity.
Of humanity, exactly. And what I find so fascinating is how this point actually ties back to the source itself. This document comes from a community center, a place that's built on the very foundation of supporting one another, of coming together.
Right.
So it's a beautiful reminder that our faith, our inner compass, it doesn't just stop with us. It impacts how we interact with the entire world around us.
Yeah. It's like that saying, no man is an island.
Exactly.
We're all part of something bigger than ourselves.
100%.
So we've explored kind of the heart and then its outward expression through our actions. But there's another dimension to this, isn't there? This connection with the divine, with Allah.
This is where things, I think, get really, really interesting. Because they talk about neglecting religious practices, not striving for that closeness to Allah, and even the hardening of the heart, right? And this is where that contrast becomes so powerful. If faith, as many people believe, is supposed to be a source of peace, of tranquility,
right,
then a lack of that peace within yourself can be a sign that that connection needs a little bit of attention. It's like trying to navigate with a compass that's constantly spinning.
Yeah.
You lose that sense of direction, that inner stillness.
Yeah. They even mention not being moved by verses of the Quran.
Wow.
Almost like the words are losing their impact.
And, that ties into another point, I think a really powerful one, about how we respond to challenges as well. The document mentions showing excessive grief and fear in the face of hardship. And again, that resonates, I think, across cultures, across faiths.
It does.
It's about finding that inner resilience, that strength that comes from connecting to something greater than ourselves.
That makes me think of that saying, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
100%.
It's like our faith is a muscle that grows through these trials and these hardships.
Exactly. And that's where, I find these 21 signs, they offer not a roadmap for judgment, but a roadmap for self-reflection.
Yeah.
It's about taking a look inwards.
It's like holding up a mirror and saying, am I living in accordance with what I believe?
100%.
So for you listening, what resonated most with you? What point maybe made you pause or reflect or sparked a new understanding? Because the most beautiful thing about this document, and this is where it concludes, is with a verse from the Quran about avoiding negative assumptions.
Right.
This isn't about judging ourselves or others. It's about using these 21 signs as guideposts on our own unique journeys of inner growth. And that, my friend, is a powerful thought to leave us with.